And good evening, fellow race fans. We are live this fine March evening. This is round 5 of 5 of the Project International Touring Series. We are racing at Dubai International, the last race of the season. Last race in the Chevy Corvette C7R. Much too many people's delights, I do believe. As soon as I get a second here, I will get Fallen Log in here to commentate. I believe we're going to have room for him in the lobby this evening, which will be awesome. We have another camera guy and commentator. Just to bring you up to speed, points, it's pretty close. It's very close, as a matter of fact. After round 4, there were a few penalties involved there, which shook up the standings quite a bit. On top, leading the series with 166 points is One Space. He is up a position from the second position. Mopar has dropped to the second position in points at only 2 points back at 164. Then it's Ice Warden at 143, Vovik at 125, Hazard at 113, and Sketty just back at 110. I know Sketty will not be able to make it this evening due to a family function, so we wish him good times with the little ones. So this is a best 4 out of 5 series, so the races he has in the books will be the races that he gets scored for. So no matter how it shakes out, he will finalize with 110 points. Then it is Adrenaline Please at 98, Racer 88 at 88, as well as User is also at 88 points. They are tied for the 8th and 9th positions in points. Then it's just a couple back to Jake Dog with 85, Jackson at 78, Z at 76. That's a pretty tight battle for 11th and 12th in the standings. Then it's Slamstone at 52, McTrucker at 42, and basically all your part-time guys. Schmigs has 30, and he stands to move up a couple places on the grid after tonight's race. Lobin, Arrow, Cheese, Tom Ming, and Apex are all your other part-time drivers that have participated this season. Let me check on the boys real quick, and I'll see if I can get somebody in here to chat it up with me. Oops. Hey Z, do we have room for Fallen? We do. You got him in here. Thank you.
Good evening, Awesome.
Hey, Fallen. Welcome, buddy. How are you today?
Oh, good.
Good. Good, good, good. Good to hear it. Glad to have you with me again tonight.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Great.
Looks like I'll be in the room tonight.
Yeah, we have a little bit of space, which is pretty awesome. Get to work the camera a little bit, help out with the organization and commentating on pit stops and just other action that I can't see.
Of course.
So, yeah, this will be a good race. I do believe cool track. I like Dubai International. What do you think?
Oh, I love Dubai. It's always something I do at the beginning of the year, but at the full circuit of this event, I always run a 24-hour event with my friends on a local track here, or at a local meeting here.
Oh, cool.
To mimic the 24 Hours of Dubai, and it's just a celebration of the beginning of the year and the beginning of racing for the year.
Awesome.
And it really started my love for this track.
I find it to be a very fun racetrack.
It is.
I had just gone over the point standings, and I don't know if you have seen that. I know I posted the Excel file in the GT Planet
right
thread.
now.
It's probably on page 126 somewhere. Where is it at? I think it's toward the top. Yes. It's post 3753. If you want to take a look at that.
10 posts down. Got it.
So you can see we have a couple really tight battles and points. Super tight battle for the championship, as a matter of fact. After the little bit of a shake-up, got a pretty tight battle for 8th, for 11th, and it is 9 o'clock, which means we're going to be rolling off with grid qualifying here. In just a couple seconds, get this lobby loaded up, or the racetrack loaded up, and get some cameras on these cars, and we'll get to follow some fine action tonight. Alright, let's see if I can.
We are loading in.
Alright, here we go. Let me there we go. I can monitor.
Looks like Vovek's gonna be the first one out on track for this one.
And that's Vovek there in the blue and orange. 69 McCool. And that is Z right behind him in the yellow number 4 Corvette. So this is race 5 of season 6. What do you think these drivers are thinking about right now, Fallen? Some people like this car, some people really can't wait to get on to the next one, I think.
Yeah, basically this track and these guys are probably just concerned about finishing the race, getting as high as they can in points tonight. I know talking with Z and Jackson and all them, all they're focused on is the team championship today.
All right. So be looking for consistent pace and probably not a lot of over-aggressive moves by either of them.
No. But by what I'm hearing, I have a feeling the most aggressive person out of those the top team championship battles is really coming down to I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the team names here. Hang on. Very pulling that up right now. Basically, Hazard and Z have the strategy of going in there and getting as high up the grid as they can. That's their strategy today.
All right.
Jackson is just concerned about finishing the race and hoping his teammate can pull as many points as he can.
Well, he's been doing that very well lately, I do have to say.
Yes, he has. His teammate, I believe, is Vovik, correct?
Been running very consistently. You know, I'm sorry, I do not have the team stuff in front of me at the moment, unfortunately.
I'm looking for it right now. There it is. I have it in front of me. Yes, Vovik is the teammate to Jackson. And it's come down to Phoenix Racing, who is Vovik and Jackson, and Get Good Bro Racing from Z and Hazard. Those are the top two competitors for the team championship this season, as our top team really had one of the drivers fall out this season. So,
right.
Unfortunate to see that, but it's created a fantastic team championship battle.
It has.
Three separate points, I believe, separating the two teams, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it? Or is that a little bit bigger gap than I remember? Let me see if I can pull that up.
We have a couple new faces with us tonight, driving. We have yet to see, this is the first time we've seen the Filipino race in this series, or at least in quite some time, I should say. I don't know if he had at all when Pitts first started up. I believe he raced
in season 1 and 2.
Okay. So he's testing the waters here. I think from what I've seen of his communications, he's considering running full season. He just kind of wants to feel out the format and just how things are going here. But other than that, it's the usuals. We have Schmigs again with us, representing O Canada. And there he is, the black and orange.
One space has taken provisional pole right now. With a 135.081 with Vovik at a 135.214. Wow, I'm actually surprised to see that. Mopar at 135.499. Ice with a 135.503. Hazard with a 135.629. Filipino 136.251, Z 136.570, User 138.663, and Jackson 140.727. These are just their opening laps, so they're going to be going faster. As a matter of fact, Vovik has just gone.
Yes, 34.2, one space at a 34.6, so that's 4/10 to pole from P2. Filipino looking pretty competitive right out of the gate at a 135.4. He's really mixing it up there in the 3rd through 6th, 7th-ish area. So
there is a lot of
definitely has pace.
Within a few tenths of each other.
Yes, very close. It's only a couple hundreds between, oh, things just changed real quick.
Mopar with a 134.7, that's a 10th behind one space. Looks like Vovik is on a fast lap. Yet again.
Coming to the line, 34.158. He really seems to have this track nailed down. The communications in the GT Planet thread have been largely about how fast he has been in the practice sessions thus far. Everybody relating
Yes.
to how much slower they are than Volvico 5, essentially.
Yep.
And
He
he
has
is
definitely
off
been to the top of
pace.
the garage area this weekend.
One space trying to make up a half a second.
Looks like the lap times are currently calming down for a moment as everybody's getting ready for the last run, which should be starting here within the next 15 seconds if they are going to make it.
Yep, they still have about that much, about 10 seconds or 10 seconds or so, pardon me, to start the lap if they're going to get another one in. Grip should be the best it has been all session at this point.
Nobody will be starting a new lap. These will be the final times coming in.
How about
here in just a
Mopar?
moment.
Mopar is currently sitting in the third spot.
Adrenaline will be the first to cross the line with his final lap, and he will be at a 136.490, which slots him into 8th temp right now. Looks like Smiggs is coming around the final corner here. He's looking to improve from 7th, and does not. 136.311 will be his lap time. Just a few more cars out on track here. Mopar being one of them.
Just about 45 seconds to go in this session.
Looks like he got loose coming out of the final
And
corner.
yeah, he backed that one down.
One
So there you
space
have
coming
it.
across
That's
the line here.
pretty much what you got. You got Volvic on the pole, followed by one space will be next to him. Then it's Mopar, Hazard, Ice Warden, Filipino, Schmigs, Adrenaline in 8th, Z in 9th, Racer 420, then User, Jackson in the 12th position. Oh, then it's me and Fallen. Ha!
Yeah.
So with that, we will
Move
have
on
a
to
short
small warm-up.
intermission, about 5 minutes or so. These guys will get their any final adjustments in their cars, and we will get to racing. 45 minutes starts in 5. So, Fallen, do you have any idea what Season 7 is going to bring?
No, I do not. I'm actually really looking forward to it, but I have not been able to get any information out of anybody for Season 7 so far. Of course, I start trying to pry for the next season right away to get any idea on what's going to be coming up for votes or anything, but nothing's come out yet. So.
No, they're keeping it pretty tight-lipped.
Yep.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Last season, what did they drive in Season 5? What was it? It was the, shoot, what did they drive last season?
I'm looking for that right now.
No, I can't remember.
I have no idea what they ran.
I don't recall. Anyways, I don't think it was was it a race car?
I think it was. Was it a McLaren? Yeah, it was a McLaren last season.
Which one?
12C.
The 12C? That's right. That's right. So we had a street car, and then basically a GT, not quite a GT3 car, and almost a GT3 car. And so we'll see. We'll see. What would you like to see? What would you like to see these boys race?
Actually, one particular car I've always wanted to see these guys take on. I took it on the Nordschleife, and it was one of the most exhilarating drives I've ever had. I'm not sure how it would race, but the Pagani Zonda Revolution, it's a DLC car, so I'm not sure if it would... Yeah, they do run DLCs on this game.
Yeah, they were in everything.
Yeah, the Revolution was one of the best cars I've ever driven right out of the box on this game.
Really?
It
Cool.
was amazingly fast, and I want to see it be done in a race, but I don't know.
I would like to
How about
see.
you?
I could probably. Oh man, I don't even know. I don't even know. I have really mixed feelings about what I'd like to see them race. We have some really. This is a pretty stout field, and if you're following the GT Planet thread, you'll probably notice that this field is getting stouter by the week. We just continue to get faster and faster drivers in this group, and this isn't meant to be a knock or anything, but there's been some fluctuation in head counts this season. We got to a point where we had to start looking at a method to possibly go to 2 lobbies, and that had mixed opinions and whatnot. And I know a couple guys have decided to back out of the series and try some other things and whatnot. So we wish them good luck in the racing that they'll be doing outside of pits. But it's really starting to open the door and leave room for some of these faster guys to jump in. With that said, I'd like to see a proper fast race car. I'd like to see what these guys could do with, like, maybe not an LMP1. I don't know. Maybe an LMP1. I think that would be super fun at some really fast flowing racetracks. I think that would be super cool. I don't know how well received that would be, but I think it would be fun to watch.
I definitely agree with you on that one. That'd be fun to watch.
If not, maybe an LMP2, something a little less robust in the brute power category.
About 15 seconds, we should be getting ready to roll here, shouldn't we?
Yes, we will. And if you're not familiar with how this rolls, they do a manual rolling start, and yours truly will call it. They'll do one parade lap, get all gridded up. I hate this view. Just gonna get out of the way here. All right, Fallen, we got about a minute and a half till these guys take the green flag at the front stretch. Getting pretty excited. This is going to be a good one.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a great one to watch today. I'm absolutely looking forward to this track, so.
One space is going to... I'm interested to see how this works. How aggressive is one space going to be starting P2? Does he go for the pass right away? Does he size Vovik up? How much pressure is going to be behind him? You know, it's a 2-point race between one space, pardon me, and Mighty Mopar for the Season 6 championship. This is going to be nip and tuck all hour and a half of the live racing we're going to have here tonight. This is going to be some pretty good stuff, and we will absolutely be keeping the closest eye on those two drivers and their campaigns for this season.
Absolutely. I think he'll go for the pass right away. I would if I was one space.
Absolutely. If there's space, he's got to go for it. It is go time, because we know it'll take, unless Vovik has so much pace that he can walk away from the field, it won't take Mopar much time to put some serious pressure on him or one space. And with that said, I need to
call it.
I need to get over there. So I don't like this way. All right, boys, keep it tight. Green, 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 green. Well, that didn't take long, did it,
No.
Fallen?
No.
Mighty
surprised
Mopar
see,
to the second spot. And Vovik to the front. One space fallen to the 4th position.
He was as far back as 9th at the beginning of that race. He had a terrible start.
Yeah, he did not... whatever happened there, he did not seem to maintain pace with our pole sitter, Vovik.
I think he anticipated the start too early and had to back off and just didn't get in line before you called it. So I think it was a complete driver error on his part, just anticipating the start way too early.
One space all over Adrenaline, please, here for the 3rd spot.
Back behind that, we have Schmidt working on ice, and Z with right behind both them, with Filipino right behind both of them. That's a little group here for 6th and 9th.
Currently, Volvic has a 1.6 second lead on Mighty Mopar. For the lead in this race, with Adrenaline about 2.5 seconds back of him. And here's your race for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. There's a train right here. We got Filipino, Z, Schmigs, and Ice Warden, all within probably a second and a half or so.
One space got around Adrenaline after Adrenaline made a mistake. Hazard is attacking Adrenaline right now.
Yes, he is going to go by on the outside. Not quite. Did he have... Not quite close. Oh, he runs what? Oh. That's 36.
Hazard did get around Adrenaline, please. Going into the final corner.
Yes, they were really swapping lines there back and forth for a couple corners. Currently, one space. Yes.
These guys are going at it here.
Oh, locked up the brakes a little bit. Hazard's going to go by. Oh! And that's going to be Adrenaline with the spin in turn 3.
Same exact place he lost 2nd place or 3rd place because he just got loose going through that exact same corner.
And unfortunately, he collected Ice Warden a little bit there. I hope Go doesn't have a ton of damage. I think it was Ice Warden. Or maybe it was...
It was, and his car looks clean. It looks like it was minor, if anything.
Look at this gaggle right here. This track is creating some fantastic mid-pack racing. Actually, fantastic racing all around. Here's Adrenaline on Schmigs. Adrenaline trying to make up for his mistake. Not quite there. Schmigs running nice and clean defensive lines there. Not the fastest line, but he's still holding on to that position. Will he keep it through here? Looks like it, as long as he has the momentum on the exit. Z is going to go by Filipino on the main straight. That's for the 8th spot. Your pole sitter currently has the fastest lap of the race at a 1:35.150, owning sectors 2 and 3.
What happened to Mopar? He's back in 4th now. Did he spin?
I did not see it. I apologize. But he is in the 4th position. And Hazard has gone by. What's that gap look like? Pretty close. But Mopar is now 11.3 seconds back of the leader. And that equates to about 7 seconds behind 1 space. That's who he's concerned about.
Right now, if things finish the way they are with this race, 1 space would have about an 8-point lead going to race 2, I think.
What's the point spread between 2nd and 4th? Let's see, it's 25, then 22, and then 21.
I think it's on the main page. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, the top 4 have a spread, and then everything is a point back after that.
Yeah, we have 4-point spread from 2nd to 4th, so that would be 6 points.
A 6-point lead with 1 race to go.
Highly lucky it's not going to stay the same as it is now.
And I think that is Ice Warden creeping up on Mopar. Mopar needs to go. And he looks like he's going to have position here. Mopar to the 3rd spot. So whatever happened to him, he needs to recover. He's got a half an hour in this race to go. Plenty of time. It's over 2/3 of this race. Riding on board with Ice Warden. He's looking for 4th. Joe's got some serious pace tonight.
Back there. Adrenaline just went around in front of Z, and it looks like Z got some rear end damage trying to avoid him from, I believe the Filipino ran into the back. Adrenaline is going into the pits. Looks like he took some serious damage and is going into the pits here, so.
Ice Warden makes the pass in turn 2 for the 4th spot. Very nice. Schmigs, C in 7th. Filipino in 8th. User in the 9th spot there in the number 7. Racer in the 30. Jackson in the number 70. McCool. This Ice Warden hazard battle continues to stay tight.
I'm doing some math in my head, I'm sorry.
That's quite alright, quite alright, quite alright.
Taking a look at the point spread and getting a good idea of what's going on.
Well, I can tell you what's going on. Mighty Mopar is 2 points back of 1 space for the championship, and he needs to catch him and pass him.
Yes.
If he can beat him for the 2nd spot, that'll tie him going into the last race. Is that correct? Is it a 2-point spread between 2nd and 3rd?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on just a second there. I have that pulled up right over here. It is a 2-point spread, yes.
Here's Z in 6th, trying to hold off Filipino.
What I'm trying to figure out is what race will be dropped after everything is done and how much that will affect the points, because that we do run a 4 out of 5 race system.
Very true. Very true. Well, I can tell you, actually. I have that
You have that
in
one?
my spreadsheet. Well, I just have to glance at it and see what I got here.
Because maybe I'm taking a look at it and I'm hoping I got it right, but it looks like 1 space's race 2 would be dropped and Mopar's race 4 would be dropped.
Alright, I can tell you right, Jimmy. Oh, come on, spreadsheet, work with me. Let's see, so lowest points, Mighty Mopar's lowest points weekend was 24. And 1 space's lowest weekend was, the week was a 34. So that turns it into a 12-point gap.
Okay.
Mopar's got some serious work to do. Well, that's a bummer. I believe Adrenaline has a technical issue in which he is stuck in the pits. That's a bummer. And looks like Z's having some handling issues coming out of the final turn there. His car has looked very loose the last couple laps. I know I've been on him for a couple of minutes here, but this is a good mid-pack race. Just to keep you.
I know that
Go ahead, Paul.
Z is trying a new setup under the car this week. He says he thinks he figured it out. But I'm not 100% confident in the setup if he's just getting on the later end of the run. But it looks like he's holding position fairly decently.
He is. He is. I thought he totally had that position lost there. But he was able to maintain it. I'm guessing Filipino probably chucked up because he was not too far behind him and he didn't want to run into him. Shifty had spun out. So,
yeah, because it looks like Filipino's been in a couple of those little incidents today.
Just to keep everybody in the loop, Vovik is still the strong leader in this race. He has a 10-second lead over 1 space.
Into the pits.
And 1 space in the pits. Mopar, previous to that, was only a couple seconds, probably about 2.5 seconds or so behind 1 space for the 2nd position.
Hazard into the pits. And User and Racer into the pits.
We have a drag race here on the front stretch. Filipino and Z. Will he squeeze it in? Will he fall in line? He will fall in line. I've raced with Filipino quite a bit a couple years ago. He's very, very clean, very professional sim racer. A pleasure to have in this series.
Yes, definitely. I was looking forward to him returning.
One space in and out currently holds the 6th spot. Mopar yet to stop. Vovik yet to stop. Ice Warden yet to stop.
Z and Filipino are top 5 have yet to stop. Looks like Smigs and Jackson as well.
If I'm Filipino, I want to stop this lap because I think Z's holding him up.
Mopar is into the pits.
This we want to follow. And he was... oh, sorry.
Warden into the pits.
Where will Mopar come out? How much fuel is he going to take? How long is he going to be sitting in here? Of course he takes tires, we know that. It was about 2.5 before this cycle.
He's rolling, and one space just crossed the line. One space in front of Mopar by...
Yeah, well clear. That's probably going to be about 4 seconds or so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's about a 4-second gap there. So, with 22 minutes remaining in this race, Mighty Mopar still has quite a bit of work to do. You know, one space really doesn't have a whole lot to be concerned about. I'm sorry?
Vovik is into the pits.
Leader in the pits.
Sorry?
Not super concerned about him. He has a significant lead on this field.
Just keeping you guys up to date.
Z, currently in the 2nd position. Ran a 138.3 last time by. Vovik ran a 138.7 last time by. One space, fast lap of the race, 134.385.
Nice. That's good luck.
I hate this camera view. One space on Z for the 2nd spot.
Should be easy. Z is on very worn tires, has not made his
Yes,
pit
one
stop
space
yet.
has new tires.
Schmigs and Z are the only two who have yet to make their pit stop.
And the gap between them is, well...
Schmigs has disconnected. That's...
oh, really?
Yep.
So I was going to say a second ago that, you know, considering the best 4 scenario of this series, all one space has to do is pretty much run a clean race and probably be in the top 4, and he's a lock.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the 4 out of 5. And I've heard a couple other guys who aren't either, and I've heard a few people who are, and it's a double-edged sword if you go with this, because you got a lot of issues that come up with dropping your worst race, but you got a lot of leeway of doing it too. So
yeah, I think the biggest benefit of it is it allows the series to be a little more approachable for those that have busy lives and have a lot going on and just may not be able to be here every Wednesday for 5 weeks straight. Personally, I prefer a series that I can commit to. I think the top half of this league do have the ability and are committed to being here every week. So I think it really kind of depends on who you have.
Yep.
I think it would be totally feasible and wouldn't hurt anything if maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, if the series went to the full five round points, accumulated points, in the future. It just really depends on how kind of hardcore the group is, which for the most part seems to be becoming more and more elevated.
So, further back in the pack, we have Z, Filipino, and Racer all within a very tight group. All for position, as Z is just completed his outlap, so he has come out of the pits.
And he is battling
Filipino right now.
With Filipino out of turn 3 through 4 onto the backstretch. Those two can't get away from each other. That's awesome. And not to forget anybody else, User having a nice showing this evening. We haven't spoken much of him. He's just been kind of quietly turning laps and keeping a nice pace and staying out of trouble. Fortunately, Dubai's it's a pretty big track. Not in overall length, but it's very wide. There's lots of space, so it's easy to. It's easier to allow a little bit of racing room, without fear of going off track excessively. There's no grass to speak of. All the curbings are pretty forgiving at this racetrack, so all of which kind of cater to this car, quite honestly, because we know that it gets out of shape pretty easily if beat around.
Definitely.
Filipino looking pretty. Took that a little too deep. Oh, with User, I was just saying he was running clean laps, and he just got a little bit out of shape there. Saved the car, no damage, just lost a little bit of time. And now under attack by Racer 420 on the backstretch.
You hate that camera view.
Yeah, it's awful. It's like looking straight down on the car when I could be getting a panning shot or something like that from like trackside somewhere. I could actually see the side-by-side battle a little bit better. I mean, I can kind of do that manually, but it's a little tricky.
Luckily, with Project Cars 2, it has been confirmed that the broadcasting will be much easier done on Project Cars 2, and we are looking forward to that.
Absolutely. So Filipino has gotten by Z for the 6th spot. Have to keep an eye on how that battle plays out. User trying to keep in touch with Racer. Volvik's still your leader in this race, but not by near as much as it was before. Earlier in the race, it is only about a 3-second gap. Mighty Mopar is 5.5 seconds back of one space. Is Volvik going to have the long-term pace to win this race? He's got 13 more minutes to hang on to it.
I think he will be. As we say that, Volvik spins. Volvik has spun and is now in the clutches of Mighty Mopar.
Our leader having a big moment, one space to the lead, looking to put a stamp on what could be the Season 6 championship. Here's Mopar creeping up on the inside to turn 1 on Volvik. Not quite close enough.
Looks like Volvik car is just on the loose side.
It does look like it's a little bit on the loose side. He is struggling with that handling a little bit. It's just not, it's not staying as tucked as he would like it to be.
He has been on track for about 5 laps on that set of tires, so they're not that worn.
Well, they might be a little weird now after the spin. You know what I mean? Mopar to the inside. Probably not going to have the momentum out of that turn. Not going to get it done that time.
Mopar is still right behind Volvik. Not surprised by this, as they were running fairly similar pace.
User on Racer, these guys haven't got any further apart. Looks like he's going to have a little bit of an advantage here. User to the inside. To the turn 9 kink. He's got the spot. That's for 8th.
Fino Pino has lost it in front of them.
Yep, there he is.
That corner is the same corner that caught off Volvik. It's definitely a tricky corner there. I'm surprised a little bit to see the Corvette having such an issue there, as generally speaking, that's the corner that a lot of mid-engine rear-wheel drive have a problem with. Just the way the banking works on that corner, it just upsets the car ever so slightly, and if you're not ready for it, it's just going to throw you for a loop.
Yeah. Goes away in a hurry.
It definitely does.
Mopar to the inside. Got a battle into turn 1 here. Oh. He couldn't get in the throttle there. He's way faster to the 3-4 complex.
That's not a complex that a lot of people drive. It's a simple complex, but it's one that a lot of people don't drive on a regular basis.
Oh, that car looks like this wants to turn around at any moment. You can hear how careful Mopar is with the throttle right now. I wonder if there's a tire issue with these guys, or they're just beating their tires to death.
I'm gonna take a stab at it and say they're beating the tires to death. These guys are running incredibly fast laps right now.
He's driving very, very, very aggressively.
Bubba just spun it again.
Same turn?
Yep, same turn.
They just came out of that section, yep. Mopar currently 4.3 back of one space. It's a 3-point spread between the win and the second spot. Mighty Mopar doesn't need a win. He doesn't need to finish ahead of one space. He needs one space to have a major problem.
Yep. I will admit, I am still getting used to the whole idea of me being the most recent steward added to the list. But being in the room while this is going on makes it a lot easier to keep track of live incidents.
Oh yes, for sure. Did you take note of the thing that I heard you mention of earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to have lots and lots of videos for anything that happens. Trust me.
The spread between the lead one space and Mopar is still around 3.5 seconds. Hasn't really changed much. 10th here, 10th there. As they run with about 6.5 minutes to go in this race, it is one space with the lead, followed by Mighty Mopar, then Vovik 05. In the 4th position is Ice Sword, followed by Hazard, Z, and the Filipino in 7th. 8th place is User ID with Racer 420 and Jackson behind. Adrenaline retired in the race unintentionally due to technical difficulties. I don't care what car I go to, everybody's twitchy.
Vovik almost lost it again in the hairpin on the backstretch. His car is super loose.
Closest race on track is still Mopar and Vovik. Other than that, and it's become pretty spread out.
Well, we've been focusing on the overall championship. The team championship has been going on, and as of right now, the Phoenix Racing guys of Vovik and Jackson are in 3rd and I believe, yes, 10th. With Phoenix Racing, or not Phoenix Racing, come from Get Good Bro Racing in 5th and 6th. I believe after points drops, Hazard and Z of Get Good Bro Racing were ahead because Z has taken account into his bad race. I believe he had a race he did not actually compete in.
Yes.
And after points drops, I believe they would have the points lead, and I believe with the way this is working, I think they would still retain and gain an advantage over on the points lead. Numbers wise, I'm crunching that right now as we speak, so give me just a minute on that one.
Yeah, for next season, I should have my scoring spreadsheet a little more polished with the. I still need to add some formulas and whatnot for the team stuff and figure out how to organize that.
Right, I'm just digging a little bit here, so forgive me. I gotta go back a couple pages on the GT Planet thread to find the team championship, as it's buried a little bit here, so here we go. Let's see. Well, as of right now, Team Extreme of Mopar and Trucker have the points lead, but with only Mopar competing, it's very hard for them to hold that lead.
Yes. Oh, Filipino comes around. Same turn again. That is the turn 10 loop. And that's what a lot of drivers have done. Loop it. Fortunately, there's a lot of space to the inside of that turn. There's no barriers, no walls really to speak of anywhere close to the inside perimeter of the racetrack, so most guys end up pretty safe from damage.
So this is without the points drop, because it's very difficult for us to be able to pick that up right now. Phoenix Racing sitting on 203 points, with Good Bird Racing on 189. Basically, I'm doing a little bit more math right now, just to figure out, if they ran now, if they finished now, where they would be, because it's pretty well the end of the race here. I'm running about 7 tabs on my computer right now, and it's not working yet. So
Mopar has eaten into one space's lead a little bit, but it's a minute to go. All one space has to do here is pretty much just ride, and I think he is doing just that.
I believe if this battles the way it should be, he will have a 17-point lead after points drops, and I do not believe that can be obtained from this one today.
Well, you know, it's not over until the fat lady sings, as they say, and we have another 45-minute race, and this one's not done yet, by the way, let me just say. We've seen crazy things happen in racing. Last turn off, spins, mechanical failures, you know, that stuff just is going to happen, and one space really taking it easy here. But to the line, it will be one space for the win.
Wait, we're not done yet.
Oh no, they have one more lap. I apologize. He thought that was going to be it, didn't he? I bet he thought that was going to be it. He got to the line too early. He was backing it down. He was backing it down so that could be his last lap, and that has brought Mighty Mopar right to the bumper. That will be the mistake of the night if Mopar gets around. And he is going to do everything he can to make it happen. This is exciting. See what I mean? You never know.
Yep, definitely.
Go one space wide! Mopar to the lead!
That just swings a point right there.
That's a huge swing. You have got to be kidding me. Just a couple more turns. And that'll be it. That is it. Mopar across the line takes the win in race 1
that will
of
make
round 5.
A 9-point race for the championship, which means one space has to finish 5th or better in order to win this championship.
That's assume Mopar wins. Is that correct?
That is assuming Mopar wins, yes.
Right.
That will tie the championship. I believe, unfortunately for that, I believe that would go to Mopar for the tie, if I'm not mistaken.
For quantity of wins, I do believe so.
He needs to finish 4th or better in the next race to win the championship.
That is probably one of the most phenomenal finishes we've seen all season. Probably the most exciting thing that we've seen. That was a huge mistake on one space's part. If he was thinking what I'm thinking he was thinking, that sounds a little complicated, but it's actually not. And quite honestly, if I were in the same position, I probably would have tried to do the same thing.
Right.
But it didn't work out in his favor. He had like 3 or 4 more seconds that he had to tie up. He just didn't have quite that big of a lead.
Right now,
pull that off. So going through the running order, if I may, real quick, Fallen.
Sure, go ahead.
It is Mighty Mopar with the win with 1 space in the 2nd position. Volvic 05 3rd, Ice Warden 4th, Hazard level 4 in the 5th spot, followed by Z and Racer. User ID 8th, the Filipino, SW Jackson, and Adrenaline Please round out the field of 11. Unfortunately, we had 1 disconnect this race. That's always a bummer. But,
looking at the math right now, after this race, the team championships with Phoenix Racing of Volvic and Jackson's have scored 236 points over the course of the season, with Z and Hazard only scoring 220 after this race. So that means a 16-point spread. That could switch in a heartbeat on team championships, just depending on one race.
Absolutely.
With the overall championship, you have Mopar in 1 space, and that could go either way. If 1 space finishes 5th, he ties, which means, and Mopar wins this race. 1 space and Mopar will tie, which means the Mopar will get the overall championship. So 1 space will have to finish 4th in this next race. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this next race goes now. If 1 space had not made that mistake, he would have had this championship on lock. There was no mathematical chance that Mopar could have gotten him, no matter how it went, if 1 space had won that last race.
Wow. Wow.
That's how big that one call was.
That was huge. That was, whew. I didn't even realize I wasn't looking at the clock until you were putting the brakes on me. I'm like, oh man, they got another lap. Oh, that's fascinating. You know, we have a reverse grid race coming up in about 5 minutes or so, which means these fast guys start at the back. We know Mopar is spectacular at cutting his way through the field. Probably, dare I say, the best on the grid at doing so. This is going to be fascinating, race 2. And with that, I am going to take a short break myself. I'll be back in a second.
I agree. I need a drink after that. I will be back.
You need to prioritize in your router settings. Right, that's exactly what I was talking about, thank you. If it has a function. Yes. Thank you. It's the same freaking racetrack too. Okay.
Warm up. Get your pit strategy set up and then.
Hey, Fallen.
It's gonna be very hard to see much depth out there.
You there, Wilson?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, after everything is said and done, the Get Good Bro Racing has to push their cars to the absolute limit. They have no choice if they want to win the team championship. All Volvic and Jackson have to do is finish well.
They're doing a new lobby, by the way.
Yeah, I've already gotten the invite.
Okie dokie. Hey Fallen, did you happen to get the finishing order on that?
Actually, I have it on video, so I'll be able to send that to you later tonight.
You know
Or
what?
tomorrow morning.
It was still on my P-car stash. Thank goodness I just took a picture of it.
Uh-oh. My PC seems not to be plugged in. That's never a good thing, huh? Or The switch got flipped. If it ain't a yapping dog, it's a bad PC cord. I can never get all set up on stream, can I? Speaking of my yapping dog, she just looked at me like, what?
Mm-hmm. She knows you're talking about her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Alrighty. Well, we are just a couple minutes out for those watching of getting this thing on a roll. So, by my... You know what? Who disconnected? Was it Schmigs that disconnected?
Schmigs did disconnect.
I wonder if he's online at all. He is playing soccer.
So he's not joining us back.
I doubt it. Looks like Jackson has fired it up anyways. So
Yep.
gotta keep the thing rolling. It's one of the things that we're trying to work on.
Warm-up.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think it'll probably be
warm-up.
shorter than that if I were to guess.
I was in the game chat when he was announcing this. They will be doing the full 5 minutes.
Oh, they will do full.
As far
okay.
as I understand.
Okay.
As far as I understand.
Okay. Well, it is 10:16. Pretty good. We could have this thing wrapped up by just after 11. Not too bad. I have to wake up a little earlier for work in the morning. Not crazy early.
Hopefully, with Project Cars 2 comes dedicated slots, so the commentator guys are not in the middle of the racetrack when race starts.
The way that I understand it, that's how it's going to be. There'll be 2 dedicated positions, not grid positions, but 2 dedicated slots for someone to live for, like 2 people, like one person to live stream and one person to commentate and something like that. I think it's 2 spots
right.
though. Whatever. But with the with the surge in esports and people doing what we're doing, this is becoming more and more and more popular of a thing, a hobby, so to speak, that people like to get involved in, whether it's actual racing or being involved in commentary or camera work. It's all it becomes a bit of a production. If you start to read on what it takes to put one of these things together, and we're by no stretch of the imagination well seasoned in this, it's a minimum of 3 people to do this well, and without proper computer stuff and hardware, it's kind of difficult. We're doing this here for Pits on basically just the PlayStation 4 as far as hardware is concerned, so pretty limited.
I got my laptop with a few tabs on the internet, and that's basically.
Yeah, I mean, I have I have my desktop right next to me that I can, check different things, and I have the spreadsheet open, and I have the live chat open on YouTube and all that jazz. But as far as the actual production is concerned,
right. So basically, what I have on my computer tonight is my PCars dash, the Google Chrome with all the pit stuff and the YouTube stream, a calculator to keep track of the points, a notepad to keep track of pit strategies, and then the document that you sent me for points. And that's what I got on my computer tonight. That's how my computer's running, and that's more than it usually does, so it's draining. About should be about 2 minutes left before we get this race started. And keep in mind the overall point spread. We can't give you exact numbers on team championship spread. Basically, right now, it's a 16-point gap between Phoenix Racing and Get Good Bro Racing. Phoenix Racing has the advantage. So basically, Good Bro Racing has to race at their utmost best, and Phoenix Racing has to have a problem. That's basically how that's going to go. Now, for the overall championship, one space has to finish 4th or better if Mopar wins this race. If Mopar does not win this race, all one space has to do is finish a couple spots behind him. Basically, that's how that's going to work. If Mopar finishes, I think it's like 4th or worse, mathematically, it's impossible for him to take the win from one space. So Mopar has to finish in the top 3 to even have a chance, and then one space has to have a bad race. So all one space has to do is keep it clean, keep his nose clean, and don't mess up in the race, and he'll have the championship. We know he has the pace to finish 4th. That's why he's there. That's why he's in the possibility of winning this championship.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Well, we are about 40 seconds away from taking this grid to turn 1. This is going to be...
Do you have an idea of how they're going to line up?
Yeah, reverse of how they finished. Duh.
Well, do you have the list of who's going to line up where? Then?
I do, as a matter of fact. So it'll be Adrenaline, Jackson, Filipino, User, Racer, Z Hazard, Ice Warden Vovik, one space Mopar.
If I was one space, I would tag right behind Mopar and just follow him through the field.
Yeah, easier said than done. Obviously. Yes. But yeah, you just can't get hung up for too long. You can be patient. There's lots of time out there. I know he has pace.
I'm going to try the same thing you do and cross the line.
I don't think it matters. I was so wrapped up in the excitement of the last race that I didn't actually... I forgot to even pay attention if I even had the option to save that replay. Which I haven't, I think, one time since I started doing this, I was able to. So
I have not been able to save a replay yet, and it would make my streaming job just a little bit easier. Not that much easier with the issues we've been having.
Oh, it's a lot easier when you have the ability to look at every car at every angle and rotate the camera on every car. You can see pretty much everything. It makes it so much easier to review incidents and whatnot. So it'll be Adrenaline, please, on the race 2 pole with Jackson beside. Filipino, User, Racer, Z, Hazard, Warden, Vovik, one space Mopar, all the way at the back. And with that, I am going to jump over to game chat. And I don't like the way this update has changed the way this works. Is everybody clear on their starting positions? Tighten it up, boys. Tighter, tighter. Green, 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 green! Well, we have Adrenaline, who started first and is still first after lap 1. Technically lap 2, on to technically lap 3. And that's all because of our manual start. So we have Hazard in the second spot. As you see, we are on board with now. Filipino third, User fourth, Z fifth, Racer in the sixth spot. Take that, the seventh, the sixth. Whoa, they're back. If I can't decide where they want to be. That's good stuff. Where are they at? Here, let's see some of this here in this position.
I've been watching this battle go on for a while. Basically, one space is trying to get his way to the field. Ice is right there with Mopar right behind him, but he made a small mistake, and Volvic has been cutting his way to the field as well. So it's been a jostle for positions here, and a little bit of beat and bang, but nothing too severe.
I am surprised that we are almost 2 laps into this race, and Mopar is essentially 9th out of 11 racers. One space right ahead of him. But I thought they would have cut through a little bit quicker than that. Interesting. Very interesting. There goes one space to the inside. Ice Warden for the 7th spot. Mopar 2 back.
Mopar needs to get ahead of one space.
I sense
needs to make a gap.
I sense patience out of Mighty Mopar right now. I'm watching him drive. I was looking at one space's rear view a couple minutes ago, and he's being cautious, just making sure that he's got to, when you're working this field, when you're working this traffic, you got to make sure you don't beat the car up. You got to you can't win if you're in the pits fixing your car. Now, once these things starts to open up a little bit more, and tire temperatures come up, I think you're going to start to see a little more aggression. But one space is now about 4 spots ahead of him. 1 space now to the 5th position. Mopar is 9th still. 37 minutes to go. Lots of racing. But let's take an eye. Here's Z. Z on Vovik, or right behind Vovik into turn 1. But he's got Ice Warden all over him. And he will give way there. Got Mopar right behind him with a run. You know, he's just having a hard time getting any kind of toe effect, it seems. I mean, he beat him, but he didn't beat him because he got any draft, any toe effect on that long straight. Z just went wide. Lightning Mopar trying to work his way around. Gonna go to the outside on Ice Warden. We have an issue off back there. Who was that? Was that Filipino? Yes. 1 space to the 3rd spot. And Hazard is 10 seconds up the field, and it's another half to Adrenaline. So we have, here's your battle for the lead. It's 2 car lengths, if that. And it may be the other direction by the time they exit this hairpin. Hazard looking to the inside, showing cards. Anything planned? No, not quite. Ooh. Little bump. Gave it back. Let him have the space. 10 seconds back to 1 space. No harm, no foul there, I'd say.
No, definitely not. Do we know that you cannot watch the race on the live stream at 720p while I am watching the race live on my PlayStation?
Too much bandwidth?
My internet did not like that.
Fortunately, I don't have that problem.
Well, see, this is why you're streaming and I'm not.
I guess so. So, Adrenaline holding on to the lead just barely here over Hazard. May not for long, maybe. Oh,
yep, there he goes.
Wow.
Good save, though.
You know, the camera didn't follow him because I had it hooked to Hazard, but he flew off the screen at an absurd rate of speed.
He saved it, though.
It is a good thing.
That.
It is a good thing there are not many close walls at this racetrack.
He was hauling off that racetrack.
Holy cow, was he ever. I don't know if he just totally missed his brake point or maybe he got sidetracked. You know, you know a guy's next to you, you know a guy's right behind you, and you're checking the rear view, and all of a sudden, oh crap! I totally just blew my brake marker. You know, it does happen. It happens to the best of them every once in a while. But that's what that looked like, because that thing just went like you totally locked up the rears and just went right off the track. But when it's all said and done, it is Hazard level 4 to the front with Adrenaline Please behind. 1 space in the 3rd position. He is 7 seconds back of Adrenaline. About 9 seconds back of the lead of this race. Mopar has worked his way up to 6th, still following Ice Warden.
we haven't made problem coming onto the pit entry straight. It doesn't look like he's going towards the pits, but he is fighting in very bad issue with his car right now.
Mopar has run a best lap of 1:36.3. One Space has run a best lap of 1:35.5. And Mopar has clean track right now to run fast laps. There's
Hazard with a 1:34.9.
is there a pretty good chance the pace of the track is just not there because we did not run qualifying in this lobby?
That is a possibility. Not 100% certain.
Yeah, I don't know.
What
It's very speculatory.
I'm seeing a lot of cars that are not running the same pace, but then
No.
Hazard being an exception, not the rule. That's for this race, apparently.
No, I feel like everybody's a second slower than they should be right now. Even all the way back down. Jackson's run a 1:39.5 last time by. Let me see what bests are. Yeah, a 1:39.3 for Jackson. I think he was running 1:38's last race. There's Hazard, one of the 1:34.906. That's purple on the race. So it might be rubbering in a little bit.
Issue bringing him right back to Mopar.
And here he is, One Space in the 5th position. He is given 4th to Ice Warden with Mopar 1.4 seconds back. And you can see it. Here it is. And he knows it because Mopar can see this right here. 1.2 seconds up the road is One Space. User's 3.1 back of him. 1.3. So he's seeing this gap in live time. Now that he's right behind him again, he can start to see where he's losing, where he's gaining time, and also he knows that he's racing somebody up there. One Space is up there racing somebody, so he should not be able to run as fast. That's motivation for a driver. You know that he can't run as fast because he's in traffic, so there's no excuse for him not to be chipping away at that gap.
At the same time, we've already burned through a quarter of this race. We've already burned through 15 minutes of this race. Mopar has not gotten around One Space yet.
No, and he's only made it to the 6th position. Hazard and Adrenaline have, they checked out in the first couple laps, and that's pretty much how these things always run, but,
generally speaking, the fast guys are always there by the time they're
no, I take it back. I was looking at the wrong screen. Hazard has a 4-second lead on Adrenaline, who has an 8-second lead on Vovik. So, One Space has a good 20 plus seconds back of the lead. Here's Ice Warden on One Space. Joe's no slouch. He's pretty competitive today. It's interesting in this series that when you have a group of drivers, even though it's a relatively small group of drivers that are all pretty darn fast and really close in skill level, how the map, so to speak, of the race can vary from week to week. One person's got one track in the bag, or Next week somebody else has it, but you're talking about a whole group of drivers that are all really good. It's not so much different than pro level, where everybody in the race is a good driver. It's just who's got that perfect feeling for the track, for the car on any given weekend, and you see that in this series. Every week the picture is a little bit different than the last. It's a lot of fun to watch. It really is.
Yes, and I completely agree with that.
Ice Warden falling back of one space a little bit here over the first few turns of this circuit.
Volvic just got around the drone for second place. Now all he's got to do is catch up to Hazard, who is currently 8.2 seconds up.
Hazard is the only driver to touch 134 this race. And we are almost at the halfway point. We're about 3 laps from the halfway point. Is that
At the same time, his last lap was just a 137.1 compared to Volvic's 137.2. Right now, the fastest car on track is one space for the 136.4 for his last lap.
Yeah, and not anywhere remotely close to fast for what we've seen of these guys. Ice Warden has reined in one space yet again.
I'm expecting to see pit stops here fairly soon. In the next lap or two is when pit stop should start.
I wonder if you're in this position, if you're Mopar, what are you considering for strategy? Do you pit early?
If I'm Mopar, yes.
Because they're not exactly running blistering pace here, and I would venture to say that everybody in the field is a little bit uncomfortable with their cars this race. I'm just not seeing. I'm not seeing tight lines. I'm not seeing ultra smooth driving out of drivers that I would expect to see it from. I don't know if there's much advantage.
Hazard just spun it in turn 1.
Volvic to the lead.
He just blew a 10-second gap to the lead in one corner. That's how on edge you guys are, and that's how quickly this entire championship could change.
And with that, one space steadily creeping closer and closer and closer to the front of this field. It's now about 10 seconds or so. Mopar up to the 5th spot. Mopar pretty much on the same stretch of road as the 3 or 4 drivers in front of them. Pretty decent gap. But depending on his pit strategy,
We have Hazard
could
going
make that
into
up.
the pits.
like Hazard the only one going in this time by of that group. That'll put 1 space to the 2nd spot, followed by Ice Ward and Mopar in the 4th position.
I miss Filipino going into the pits. He's not currently battling anybody, so that wasn't something we were really watching. But yes, Filipino has made his pit stop.
Okay.
If I was Mopar, I'd be pitting this lap. I would have pit last lap if I was Mopar, to be honest, but I've seen the short pit work on this track.
Is
The
there,
last race it proved.
for the conditions, is there enough? And here's Z on Racer. Or is it Racer on Z? I'm not sure. I may have that backwards.
That would be Racer on Hazard. Hazard just came out of the pits.
Ah, I'm sorry. I see.
Ice, Mopar, and Volvic all into the pits.
That's not going to be good timing for him, because he's basically going to be coming out right behind these guys. Instead of short pitting where you come out, theoretically, in clean air.
Yeah, Mopar's coming out right in traffic. His best bet would have been to pit a lap ago.
Or just hold off for 1 lap. It depends on how fast. You know, if you're 2.5 seconds faster on new tires, I'm thinking pit early when there's traffic in front of you. If there's not, if the pace isn't there on new tires, which I'm not sure that there is going to be here, then there's really not much advantage. You pretty much are looking to pit in whenever is going to put you in clean air coming out. And hopefully that when things cycle out, you can gain enough time to leapfrog anybody who may have been holding you up. But
And,
on track,
one
it
space
is
into the pits.
1 space. I was going to say he's into the lead, but now he is pit.
I am currently watching that. Volvic should retake the lead, I do believe. But Volvic has made his pit stop.
Mopar just exiting 10 now. Coming through turn 11. Heading toward 12. 1 space is starting to exit the pits. And Mopar is just exiting the last turn. That's a pretty big gap.
Volvic is the leader.
Where is 1 space? Okay, well, ignoring what I just said, Mopar right behind 1 space. They are 5th and 6th on track.
That's not good enough for Mopar. He
No,
needs to
it's not.
beat 1 space by a lot.
He needs to get all the way to the front in the next 18 minutes.
And 1 space can't go anywhere.
Yeah, right. If he is as high up as he
If he's gained 1 spot, Mopar has no chance.
Right.
If he passes ice, he has no chance. And User has yet to pit, which will put user or one space into fourth. As they are directly behind user. And there is nobody anywhere near Mopar. So if one space just holds this stuff together for the next 16, 17 minutes, and one space has this race, it has this championship. Because Mopar, for one, has not gotten around him. Even if he does, once user makes that pit stop, one space slots in that spot he needed to finish to win the championship. So it's,
and we do have to take it. We do have to take into consideration any possible penalties that there may be floating around.
Right. These are all unofficial results.
Right. We're just speculating on the possibility of final finishing positions. And one space going to go by user.
Last person to put.
One space on Ice Warden into turn one.
So while we've been focusing on the overall championship, the team championship wise, right now, Phoenix Racing is doing good enough to hold on to the lead. With Volvic in the lead, Hazard in second, and then Jackson in 10th and Z in 9th, they're not doing Good Bro Racing is not doing good enough to take that 16-point gap away. So right now, the Phoenix Racing guys have the team championship if the results finish as they are. I'm keeping an eye on all the championships as we're doing this stuff.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job over there with the numbers, Colin. Appreciate it very much.
Awesome.
Space gonna make a move here on Ice Warden, maybe? Not quite.
If I was one space, I wouldn't risk it because he's in the championship winning position right now. But at the same token, there's nobody for a long way behind these guys except for Mopar. It is from Mopar to Racer. It is a 37-second gap. As I say, that one space goes around ice. What do I know?
One space to the third spot. Volvic still has the lead. It's a second and a half back to Hazard.
Basically, that's a one spot advantage to one space. That's just all that is cushion in case something happens.
Well, something happened last race, so nothing
Exactly.
wrong with having a little cushion.
Let's see if he learned from the last race to keep a better eye on
I'm
that clock.
sure he has.
It does look like Mopar is just
And
struggling
I
for
will
pace
say,
in
I
this
know
race.
that the viewers cannot typically hear a lot of the chat that happens in game chat when I do pop over there between races and for starts, but One Space was indeed pedaling that last lap in hopes to come in, cross the line after the time. We're just a couple seconds shy. So he was aware of it. It just didn't quite work out.
I've never been a big fan of trying to pedal the last lap to the finish. I understand why, but there's always exactly that. The chance for you to completely blow your win.
Yeah, because he pedaled so much that he brought Mopar right to him. Now, if he would have had double the gap, sure. Why not? But Mopar was just close enough that by the time he pedaled that, he just brought him right to his bumper. And then you have the added pressure, and that's what happened. Then he made a mistake.
Yep.
So things are pretty spread out at the moment, and if I can, since I have a second, I'm going to pop over to scoring.
I'm taking a look at right now, and basically it's what we've been saying all along. One Space has us. At this point right now, the way this championship would finish, it would be One Space, Mighty Mopar. Ice. Ice, sorry. That might be wrong. I haven't done the math on Volvic versus Ice yet, but they were there was a 15-20 point gap, so I'm assuming no, I think Volvic got him. I think it'd be One Space, Mopar, and then Volvic, depending on which races drop. Yeah, according to my math, Volvic would finish third as of right now. So enamored by the overall championship. We completely forgot about the battle for third place in the championship.
I'm trying to put some points together at the moment, actually.
Are you? Make sure that all my
Well,
numbers
just
are right.
I'm inputting from race 1 now that I have a second, just kind of hopping from driver to driver. I actually have to add a driver because I don't have Filipino on my list. But I'll have to do that at a later time. I just put everybody's finishes in the penalty box. Or column. Oops.
Nice. So, well,
Easy to fix.
I'm betting you that played with the championship standings a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, that didn't work out very well. What happened here? Okay, so here's what's interesting on that, is that now granted we can speculate about different policies, different procedures and all that jazz, but if this were a full consecutive 5-race series, Mopar would have a 1-point advantage after race 1 of this evening's events. But that's not the situation.
So, basically, it still wouldn't make a difference in with the way this race is run down.
Correct.
That is actually very interesting to hear.
Because at the moment, let's see what we have. You can only have so many apps at once. You have one space in third, Mopar in fifth. Which is only, is it a three-point gap?
Pulling that up right now. I thought I had it pulled up, but apparently it got removed for some reason. One power running 50 tags, right?
Yeah.
Back up, so they went too far. Point system. From third to fourth or third to fifth? Third to fifth is a 4-point.
4-point. So as they run, one space would, in that scenario, have a 3-second or a 3-point advantage. But being that that's not the scenario, and that's, that's consistency. Consistency wins that. And it wasn't necessarily running consistency. It was the fact that that last week Mopar ended up with a pretty significant penalty for what amounted to that very large incident at lap 1, race 2 of last weekend's race at Catalunya that affected, at least 3 or 4 drivers or so, with them all being in a pack. And it really kind of stresses how important it is for these guys to really be careful on cold tires, and reverse grid starts, and just being in a pack where everybody is 2 feet from each other One minor error, which could be something that could possibly even be overlooked if it wasn't anything significant. If it were just two cars, on track, could be a huge penalty if it affects several other drivers. And that's basically the situation that you had last week. And it's unfortunate, but that's what needs to be done to ensure that we keep pressing and keep trying to make sure that we have a field of drivers that really, really takes clean racing seriously. Which, by the way, I think everybody does. We have a really good field of respectful professional sim racers. But everybody makes mistakes. But that's not to say that they shouldn't be held accountable for them.
We do have a drone stopped on the front stretch.
I bet he's got a glitch again. I bet he's got a glitch, because that's weird. I don't know if that would actually be, if he would actually make contact with somebody, if somebody ran through him, but I just did notice that watching Z go by the front line. Hey, we have a minute left in this race, just about. We have a couple battles.
1 space to second. 1 space just took second from Hazard, who just spun in turn 1.
Mopar is still in the 5th position, right behind Warden.
Sorry, I snapped to that.
No, that's fine. That's what you're here for. I can't look at everything simultaneously.
We do have Jackson versus Filipino for the last 30 seconds here. The checkered flag is out, so anybody who crosses the line now, the race is over. And Volvic will be your winner. 1 space is your provisional overall champion with a 2nd place finish. Hazard will come away 3rd. Ice Warden will be 4th. Mopar coming across the line in 5th place. Jackson finishing 9th, Filipino finishing 10th. Adrenaline will finish 11th. Just waiting on 6th through 6th and 7th to finish, pretty much. And Racer will take 6th place, and User will be in 7th. Z in 8th, Jackson 9th, Filipino 10th, and Adrenaline will be 11th. So, according to my calculations, that will mean that 1 space will win the provisional for now. Keep this in mind, this is all provisional, but he will win the Drivers' Championship for Season 6 of Pit Series, and that will give the Team Championship to Phoenix Racing for the Season 6 Championship. Great drive by everybody this season. Been a phenomenal season to watch so far.
Absolutely. This has been a pretty fantastic night of racing. Pretty dramatic, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm just putting in race 2 scores, so if you'll bear with me.
Yeah, just make sure that I'm right that Phoenix Racing won before we make
I don't.
that one
I don't
official.
have the team stuff.
The team. We'll have to wait until further notice. But according to my numbers, that should give Phoenix the win. If I am mistaken, I am incredibly sorry. It is very hard to tell the team championships overall, but
It's okay. It'll be a little bit more polished with the team stuff next season. I'll have that added to my score sheet.
thank you. Thank you. That is another element of this series that doesn't get the light it really should, in my opinion. But this season, I think, has been one of the best seasons so far. It's provided some really good racing throughout the entire season.
So I'm showing.
What's your third place results? And second and first.
For, well, hold on.
Bear with us as we are going through the official results here. So, again, these are still going to be unofficial until approximately Monday. If you guys want to know the complete official results, you guys are going to have to go to the GT Planet thread and just keep an eye on that.
I think we have that totally goofed.
What's up?
I'm showing. Well, I don't really want to say it loud because I do need to double check this sheet, but here's Mopar stuff. Smart space stuff. No, I have Mopar at provisional champion by 5 points over one space.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So the scores for the 5 weeks for Mopar are 43, 50, 47, 24, 41. And the best four
is 24.
Yeah, the 24
so
is
give me
dropped.
those numbers again.
43, 50, 47, 41. So his top 4 should be 181 points.
Just a second. So 47, 50, 41, 47?
43, 50, 47, 41.
Okay, that brings it up to 181 for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's calculated, so it should be right. One space drops his first race, which was 34 points, so he has left with 41, 48, 43, 44. It's 176
41,
points.
48. Yeah. Huh. You're right. Well, I made a major mistake. I am so sorry about that.
So that would put, I'm looking for third place, so, and I can't sort this yet. I haven't set my spreadsheet up to sort this stuff yet.
The official results will be available later. We need to take this out. We will figure it out over the weekend. Keep an eye on the GT Planet thread. We're not 100% certain of who's where, so.
Yeah, I think usually finals are posted around Saturday or so. It takes a couple days because we have a day or so for drivers to be allowed to review and file any incident reports should they deem necessary, and then there's an opportunity for the live stewards, myself and Fallen, to file after that, and then everything needs to be reviewed and finalized by the Steward Corps, in which after that point official penalties, if any, would be assessed and final point standings may be posted. So that's how that all works. So it takes a couple days. But I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in every week for watching this series. It's a lot of fun. This is new to me, doing this whole broadcasting thing. It's been a lot of fun. I love having a co-commentator with me. It really smooths out the whole process and makes it a little more entertaining for everybody. I want to thank all the drivers.
Because it makes everybody... It gives me a little bit easier time doing everything.
It does. It's so much better, and we look forward to continuing to be able to do that when possible. So, yes, I want to thank all the drivers for showing up every week and working hard and putting in the time and just having a good time out there. So, I want to thank the organizers, Z93, Alex O'Neill, SW Jackson, Aerolite Flight, all the guys that do a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure this whole thing rolls off smoothly and is just a good time for all involved. So thank you to everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for Z and his daily job, Deering Distribution in Illinois, for their support of the series. And we will hope to see you next week. Next week will actually be technically the last race with the Corvette. We will have an all-star race, which is essentially just a non-points event. It's more for fun. It's not... like I said, it's no points. There's nothing else involved other than just a good time of guys having at it on track. But then the following week, provided we don't have an off week, which I don't think we do, 2 weeks from now we will have the first race or the first round of Season 7. I don't know what track it's going to be at. I don't know what car they're going to be driving, but I know that I will be here. You'll be watching, and we're all going to have a good time. So until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Good night.